There was actually one event that took place in Mexico related, closely related with the US and with communism. So I don't know if you know it. It's like this is dark history. But it turns out that a lot of communists were traveling to Mexico, and a lot of them were talking to teachers, to artists. You know, Frida Kahlo, the artist, she
Yeah,
died,
yeah.
but if she hadn't died, they would have killed her because she was friends with the communist people. And so
Oh my God. What? People were trying to kill Salma Hayek? Oh my God.
you're like, she's beautiful.
Why? Why?
Well, anyway, so there was this thing, right, that in Mexico, there was like a new communist movement, right? And with the proximity of the US was so worried. There were some rumors that Russian spies were going to Mexico first, and then from there they were going to try to come into the US and stuff. And so specifically they were targeting students, right? And at that time there were a lot of student movements, not related to communism, but you know, that period of in time, it's specifically when people are like, we don't want to follow the rules. We want to do our own thing, right? And so students were constantly protesting against the government, right? Like whether the education system was not changing and many things. So the government of Mexico had been communicating with the government of the US about this issue, and supposedly the US found a document that there was going to be a communist movement in Mexico led by the students. And it was a document by the CIA, by the CIA intelligence, and we got it. And oh my gosh, communists, we don't want to do that, right? So this document gets to Mexico, and it turns out that they panic. We're like, we can't have this. If we do this, the U.S. is gonna fight us. And then around the same time, there is the biggest student protest in the capital in Mexico City. And then the students, they're peaceful. It's a peaceful protest. They're just marching and protesting, but nothing bad. And then the entire police, I guess it was police, National Guard, and the military, they come and they start killing everyone. They kill everyone. Well, I mean, a few people survived, but it was like a massacre, a complete massacre. It's the darkest chapter in history. So what happens is that all the students
Wow.
that were dead, their bodies were picked up and dropped somewhere. Where? We don't know. But they were dropped somewhere. The next day, normal, like the plaza's clean, nothing happened, there were no news about it, nobody knew. It was like a rumor, right? Like, what happened? We don't know what happened. Then we had the Olympic Games, and everybody, no one spoke about that. And then the witnesses, or the people who survived, they started hunting them down, kill them. People who lived in the neighboring communities, they would like you go to their houses and intimidate them so that they wouldn't say anything. So for many years no one said anything, nothing. But it's not like they killed 10 people. No, they killed like a lot, in the hundreds. A lot of people died during that time. No one said anything. And then people started going to the US to ask for help. But guess what? The US didn't want to say anything either, because they were the ones who had sent the document saying that there may be a communist thing going on. So it was, for many years, no one spoke about it until about 7 to 10 years later. Then people started saying, hey, this is what happened here. And now everyone talks about it. There's documentaries, and what a horrible night it was, because the people who led that massacre are no longer in the country. They're not even in Mexico anymore. They live
Yeah.
somewhere in Europe, you
Yeah.
know? And so, yeah, that's the darkest chapter.
Wow. Wow. What is this called?
It's
What is this
called,
called?
um, it's I'm gonna send you the documentary on Netflix. So Because now they have it. They have a documentary. Uh,
Now you have told me this interesting thing. I'm
I
gonna
know.
tell you my interesting thing, what I know about Mexico.
About Mexico. Let me see if I can find it in English. And I'll send
Okay.
you the. And then I'll send you. But it's when you read about it, you're like, what? It's just it's all in Spanish. BBC.
It's all right. I'm gonna find
But
it. I'm
also,
gonna find it. I
but this is the name
all
of
right.
it. The
Now,
massacred. Uh huh.
the massacre.
Massacred of Tla. It's a hard name. Tlatelolco. The massacre of Tlatelolco.
The massacre of Tlatelolco. All right. All right.
Sorry, but no,
Now,
you tell me. You tell
let
me.
me tell you,
We have time. We have
Mexic there is a Mexican Communist Party. The first time any communist political party that has been founded in Mexico was by an Indian,
what?
M.N.
Really?
Roy. Yeah,
What's
yep,
the name
yep.
of
He
it?
was
Is
a
it some?
right-hand man.
Uh huh.
The name of the guy is M.N. Roy.
Really?
In, I don't know, some 1920s or 25,
Uh-huh. It says here that there's
and he
still a
founded,
private club of M and Roy. Members only.
maybe. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. He
Mana,
founded the first ever Communist Party in Mexico. You can say he
that's the
brings
truth.
communism. He brings communism
Wow.
from Russia to Mexico.
To
He was
wow.
the right hand man. He was the right hand man of Lenin, I think.
How come he was like? What do you think he chose Mexico for his communist
Uh,
ideas?
I think he was running. I think he was running, or maybe he was sent by Lenin. I'll tell you the whole story next time. I think he was sent by Lenin that, okay, let's spread communism all over the world. So he chose Mexico. He was earlier in US and then he came to Mexico, or something like that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take a look at the website because it's private club for M and Roy only. I'm gonna take a look at it. Well, let's not forget this topic,
Oh,
and we'll